Hello, learners.
Now moving to creating, what I'll do is I'll go right click here, new, and I'll say solid. So the shortcut for that is Control Y or Command Y if you're using a Mac. You get this, and I'll name this as BG. With color, I'll make this to maybe a dark gray, and then I'll hit OK. So if you can see, I've got this. Now again, if you're not satisfied with this, then again you can right click over here, and you can always change that. Shortcut for that is Control Shift to Y. So it will give you solid settings. You can also do that by selecting that particular layer or that particular solid, and then you can go to solid settings over here. And from here, I'll make this a dark gray. So it also gives you a preview over here, as you can see. Let me take this color and I'll say okay. Now what I'll do is we have created this solid. Now if you can come here, so you will see this, just do a left click and do not release your mouse. So you'll get all these options of rectangle tool, rounded rectangle, ellipse tool, polygon tool, star tool. I'll first take a rectangle tool. I'll make this as fill, and stroke I do not want. So you can see is the rectangle tool. So we are currently working with shapes over here, where I'm going to show you these shapes. This is the rectangle tool over here. It has got its properties like we can change the color. You can add stroke. So for adding stroke, you can just go here, and if I get this, so you can also decrease the stroke width. So currently it was on 40. If I want, I can make this to 15 as well. Again, I'll be taking the next shape, which is the rounded rectangle tool. So just click outside and the rounded rectangle tool. This is what we get. Over here, you get all these components. This is the shape layer 2. This is the rectangle 1. Once if I increase this, this is what we get. These are the properties basically. Now this is the roundness over here. So if I want, I can increase the roundness. I can change the color as well. I can act like a button as well. If I just go here, and now if I want, I can also make this little bit. You can actually skew this, scale this. So I'll go here inside my size. I'll just turn on this so that it doesn't proportionately scales. What I want is, I want the scale down in Y. So I'm treating this as a button. Stroke, I'll decrease this a bit. And then you can add a random text, maybe TEXT. Make this as white. So you can also design some nice UI also in After Effects, and then can be added as animation and rest of the stuff. So this was the rounded rectangle over here, and this was the square over here. Now the other thing which I want to show you is, if I want a gradient inside the fill. So you just need to go here, click on this fill options. You get so many options over here. First is this, which is none. This is solid. This is the gradient. Even in gradient, we get these options. This is the radial gradient. It depends exactly what you want. And then if you hit OK, you get this. So this is the gradient fill over here. Now, if you want to edit the gradient, there is an option of edit gradient over here, which these are the properties what it is showing. I can choose any of these. You can also offset this. Then hit an OK. You can also do the changes from here as well, as per your choice. Just let me turn off this as of now, this layer. Let me work on the button and make this realistic looking, as if some action is happening. I'll just go here and just turn off this, and I'll name this as button. Let me overall scale this a bit, somewhat over here. And say for example, I'll change this Control Shift Y to maybe dark tint and hit OK. And say for example, this is random text here. Or just let me open the random text generator. We will wrap up this part here and continue in the next segment. Thank you. Hello, learners. Now let's start discussing the next key point. Yeah, so I've got this, and this is fine for me. Here, let me increase down the size a bit. For example, if this is the random text, got an image, so just let me drag and drop this. This is the image what I have, and I'll just go here, scale this down a bit. This is what the royalty free image is giving me, so just ignore this. I know it's a old phone, but just for the purpose. So right now what I want is I want some sort of nice effect on the gradient. So I'll go to fill. I'll hit OK. And I'll just expand this. I'll go to contents, rectangle 1, gradient fill, and I'll say edit gradient. I'll change the text color to black. And even on the stroke over here, what I have got, I'll add a gradient. I want that steel finish from this. So we are giving actually steel finish to this properties. So we'll go to text, more options. And the shape over here. So we've got this gradient as well as the gradient stroke. Let us expand that. And let me view this, edit gradient. So if you see, we are getting this. Just select this and you are actually able to play with the stroke of this. If you want, you can also play with the stroke. It looks really nice. You can animate the gradient over here. Let us see how it looks. If you can see, there is actually animation in it and it's looking really nice. This is how you can animate even the stroke of your shapes. You can fill colors to your shape. Thank you. Hello, learners. I've taken a white solid, and in this video I'll be showing you more parameters and more details of your shape. Let me go to the shape tool and let me again take a rectangle tool. So I've got this fill as well as the stroke, and I'm holding down shift and I'm actually dragging from my mouse and I'm drawing a shape over here. As you can see, a shape has been drawn. And if you see over here, this is the shape layer 1. I'll name this as a rectangle. Fine enough. And the first thing what I want to highlight over here is the anchor point. So if you can see, this is the anchor point of this shape over here. What is an anchor point? I'll just expand this and I'll hit on transform. So this is the anchor point over here. If you move the anchor point, it will be moving from this point. Each and every object has its own anchor point. Now, if you see, this is the anchor point over here of this shape. In the same way, our white solid also has this anchor point, which is in red. Let us come back to the rectangle over here. And suppose if there are options inside transform like anchor point, position, scale, rotation, opacity. The first 4 options, which is anchor point, position, scale, and rotation, will be affected and by the influence of this anchor point. So if I move position, so if you see, it is moving from here on this point. If I rotate, the anchor point of this remains the same and we are able to get this. Now say for example, if I move this anchor point over here, what will happen is you can hold on Y and then you can move that. The shortcut for that is this, which is the pan behind anchor point tool. You can take this anywhere or you can just press Y along with your mouse and you can move that. If I move the anchor point over here, and if you see, the rotation will be done from this point. If I move it from the position, if I move it from the scale, if I move it, so if you see on the scale, it is moving from this point. This is how an anchor point would basically work over here. What I'll do is I'll hold Y and I'll take this anchor point in middle, and now I'll just move this over here. So another thing which I wanted to show you is, first was the anchor point. Second is, if I go here inside my contents, there is a rectangle 1 and there is a rectangle path over here. So if you see, this is the roundness. So the more you increase, the corners get more round. So I can also transform this rectangle to a circle. I can also add animation to it. So just click on this stopwatch icon, maybe for 1 second, and just increase the roundness. If you increase the roundness, your rectangle is now shaped to circle. This is how you can actually make the circle from rectangle by influencing the values of its roundness. Again, if you want to change this, you can always go back and make this from circle again to the rectangle. This was one of the part. Now let me show you. I'll move this here. Let me show you another shape, which is the ellipse tool. Just go here, make sure you are clicking outside once you are taking a new tool, or else the shape would be created inside the same layer. For this, I'll just go and so we have this. Expand the content, expand the ellipse over here, and on the scale, once this is done, I want a scale over here from 0. This is how you can see a circle is formed. We will wrap up this part here and continue in the next segment. Thank you.